Join us on this journey through the book of Ecclesiastes, a book that dares to ask the hardest questions and reveals the only answer that truly matters. Get ready to uncover the truth, because in the end, only one thing remains. The book of Ecclesiastes, a journey through life's ultimate questions. The book of Ecclesiastes is one of the most profound and philosophical books in the Bible. Written by King Solomon, the wisest man to ever live, Ecclesiastes explores the meaning of life, the pursuit of happiness, and the ultimate fate of humanity. It is a raw, introspective look at human existence, filled with wisdom, warnings, and a final conclusion that ties everything together. This video will take you on a journey through Ecclesiastes, explaining its themes, lessons, and the deep reflections Solomon shares about wealth, pleasure, wisdom, and the inevitability of death. What if everything you've ever worked for, everything you've ever dreamed of, was meaningless? Vanity of vanities, says the preacher. Vanity of vanities, all is vanity. The wisest man who ever lived, King Solomon, had everything: wisdom, power, riches beyond measure, pleasures beyond imagination. Yet at the end of it all, he looked back and asked, what was it all for? Why do we chase success, money, and pleasure only to feel empty? Why does life seem so unfair? Why does time slip through our fingers like sand? Solomon searched for the meaning of life, and now his words call out to us across the ages. Who wrote Ecclesiastes? The words of the preacher, the son of David, king in Jerusalem. Ecclesiastes 1:1. The term preacher, Hebrew Koheleth, is traditionally attributed to King Solomon, the son of David, known for his unmatched wisdom. As an old man reflecting on his life, Solomon shares his discoveries about the meaning of human existence, drawing from his experiences of immense wealth, power, and pleasure. He starts the book with a shocking statement. Vanity of vanities, says the preacher. Vanity of vanities, all is vanity. Ecclesiastes 1:2. This sets the tone for the book, a quest to find meaning in a seemingly meaningless world. King Solomon, the wisest man who ever lived, set out on a journey to find true meaning in life. As a ruler with unlimited wealth, power, and knowledge, he had access to everything a person could desire. But despite all his achievements, he felt a deep emptiness. He asked the same question that many still ask today: what is the purpose of life? Solomon tested 3 different paths in search of fulfillment. 1. The pursuit of wisdom, Ecclesiastes 1:12-18. At first, Solomon believed that knowledge and understanding would bring him lasting happiness. He devoted himself to studying the world, seeking to uncover the deepest truths about life. But the more he learned, the more troubled he became. He realized that no amount of wisdom could erase the pain and struggles of human existence. Instead of bringing peace, wisdom only made him more aware of life's injustices and hardships. In frustration, he declared, "For in much wisdom is much vexation, and he who increases knowledge increases sorrow." Ecclesiastes 1:18. While wisdom is valuable, it cannot prevent suffering or death. No matter how much we understand, we are still powerless against time and fate. Number 2. The pursuit of pleasure, Ecclesiastes 2:1-11. Seeing that wisdom alone could not satisfy, Solomon turned to pleasure. He indulged in every delight the world had to offer: fine wine, music, entertainment, laughter, extravagant feasts, and grand palaces. He surrounded himself with the best musicians and entertainers. He built stunning gardens, vineyards, and luxurious homes. He had servants, wealth, and everything his heart desired. If joy could be found in pleasure, surely he would have discovered it. Yet, when he looked back, he found that even these things did not fill the emptiness in his heart. He wrote, "Whatever my eyes desired, I did not keep from them. Then I considered all that my hands had done, and behold, all was vanity and a striving after wind." Ecclesiastes 2:10-11. Pleasure is enjoyable, but it is only temporary. The excitement fades, and the longing for something deeper remains. 3. The pursuit of wealth and success, Ecclesiastes 2:18-26. Finally, Solomon pursued wealth, power, and great accomplishments. He built entire cities, collected vast treasures, and became one of the richest men in history. His success was unmatched, and people from faraway lands came to admire his wisdom and riches. But despite all his achievements, he found no lasting peace. He realized that no matter how much he gained, he could not take it with him after death. Someone else would inherit his wealth, and he had no control over how they would use it. In his sorrow, he confessed, I hated all my toil in which I toil under the sun, seeing that I must leave it to the man who will come after me. Ecclesiastes 2:18. Even the greatest success is temporary, and in the end, all people must face the same fate, death. The ultimate truth. Solomon's journey led him to a powerful conclusion. Everything apart from God is meaningless. Wealth, wisdom, and pleasure can bring temporary happiness, but they cannot provide lasting purpose. Through his search, Solomon discovered that true fulfillment comes not from chasing the things of this world, but from living in obedience to God and trusting in his plan. His final advice to those seeking meaning is this: fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. Ecclesiastes 12:13. Solomon's words are as true today as they were thousands of years ago. Life is short, and everything in this world fades, but a life lived for God has eternal value. Based on Ecclesiastes 3:1-22. King Solomon, the wisest ruler of Israel, sat in the quiet halls of his palace, watching the flickering light of an oil lamp. He had spent his life seeking wisdom, pleasure, and success, yet one undeniable truth remained: time ruled over all things. He had seen the rise and fall of empires, the birth of children, and the passing of elders. No matter how much power or wealth a person had, they could not escape the passage of time. As he pondered, the words formed in his mind like a song of truth: for everything there is a season, and a time for every matter under heaven. Ecclesiastes 3:1. There is a time to be born, and a time to die, a time to plant, and a time to harvest, a time to weep, and a time to laugh, a time for war, and a time for peace. Life moves in cycles, just like the changing of the seasons. The spring of youth gives way to the summer of strength, then to the autumn of wisdom, and finally, the winter of old age. Time is beyond our control. Solomon looked over the city of Jerusalem, where merchants sold their goods, farmers tilled their fields, and children played in the streets. He realized that no one, not the rich, not the poor, not the wise, nor the foolish, could stop time from moving forward. A farmer may plant seeds, but he cannot force the rain to come. A king may command an army, but he cannot stop the rising sun. A young man may chase after wealth, but he cannot hold on to his youth. No matter how hard people try, they cannot change the grand design of time. The mystery of God's plan. Then Solomon thought about something even greater: the mystery of God's plan. He has made everything beautiful in its time. Also, he has put eternity into man's heart, yet so that he cannot find out what God has done from the beginning to the end. Ecclesiastes 3:11. Deep within every human heart is a longing for something eternal. We build, we create, we chase after dreams, hoping to find something that lasts forever. Yet, no matter how much we learn or discover, we cannot fully understand God's ways. Why does a child die young while an old man lives a long life? Why do good people suffer while the wicked seem to prosper? Why does time take away the things we love the most? These questions trouble the human heart, but yet Solomon understood that only God sees the full picture. As Solomon grew older, another truth became clear: death comes for everyone. The rich man and the poor man both return to dust. The wise man and the fool share the same fate. Even the greatest kings of the earth cannot escape death's reach. All go to one place. All are from the dust, and to dust all return. Ecclesiastes 3:20. Some people spend their lives chasing after wealth, only to leave it behind. Others work tirelessly, yet never find rest. But in the end, all earthly things fade away. Solomon realized that since we cannot control time or escape death, there is only one thing left to do: live each moment with gratitude and honor God. I perceived that there is nothing better for them than to be joyful and to do good as long as they live. Ecclesiastes 3:12. Instead of worrying about the things we cannot change, Solomon encourages us to find joy in the simple things: a meal with family, the laughter of children, the beauty of a sunrise. Do good while we have time, help the poor, show kindness, love others. Trust God's plan, even when we don't understand it. For in the end, only God remains eternal, and only He knows the full purpose of time. Ecclesiastes 4-5. King Solomon sat on his grand throne overlooking the great city of Jerusalem. The palace was magnificent, built with the finest cedar from Lebanon, its halls filled with the scent of incense and the soft glow of oil lamps. Yet, despite all his wisdom and wealth, Solomon's heart was heavy. He had seen the world, not just from the palace walls, but through the eyes of the people. He had walked the streets, listened to the cries of the poor, and watched as injustice spread like a shadow over the land. Again I saw all the oppressions that are done under the sun, and behold, the tears of the oppressed, and they had no one to comfort them. Ecclesiastes 4:1. Solomon saw merchants cheating the poor, kings growing richer while their people struggled, and workers toiling endlessly, only to see their wages stolen by corrupt officials. He saw widows begging for food and orphans shivering in the cold. Their tears fell to the ground, but no one wiped them away. His heart ached as he realized that injustice was everywhere, like a disease that no doctor could cure. What is the purpose of power, he thought, if it is used to crush the weak? Why do the wicked sleep soundly while the innocent weep through the night? Solomon even pondered a bitter thought. Was it better to never be born than to witness such evil? And I thought the dead who are already dead more fortunate than the living who are still alive. But better than both is he who has not yet been and has not seen the evil deeds that are done under the sun. Ecclesiastes 4:2-3. The meaningless pursuit of wealth. Solomon had seen men chase after gold as if it could fill the emptiness in their hearts. They worked day and night, sacrificing family and friendship, always wanting more. But no matter how much they gained, they were never satisfied. He who loves money will not be satisfied with money, nor he who loves wealth with his income. This also is vanity. Ecclesiastes 5:10. He had known kings who filled their treasuries with silver and gold, yet their hearts were restless. He had seen merchants hoard their profits but never enjoy a peaceful meal. Even those who gained great riches spent their nights awake, fearing thieves or misfortune. Sweet is the sleep of a laborer, whether he eats little or much, but the full stomach of the rich will not let him sleep. Ecclesiastes 5:12. Solomon realized that the man who worked honestly and enjoyed the simple blessings of life, good food, the laughter of children, and the warmth of friendship, was far richer than the man who had gold but no peace. True riches come from God. At the end of his reflections, Solomon saw one truth clearly. Wealth, power, and ambition will fade, but a life lived with gratitude and righteousness will stand forever. Behold, what I have seen to be good and fitting is to eat and drink and find enjoyment in all the toil with which one toils under the sun the few days of his life that God has given him, for this is his lot. Ecclesiastes 5:18. He knew that true peace was not found in riches, but in trusting God. A grateful heart was worth more than a house filled with gold. With a deep sigh, Solomon rose from his throne and gazed once more at the city below. He had been given wisdom beyond any man, yet even he could not fix the world's injustice. But he understood this. God sees all, and in the end, he will bring justice to every soul. And so he prayed. Not for more wealth, not for more power, but for the wisdom to walk humbly before God, and to live each day with gratitude. The limits of human understanding. Ecclesiastes 6-8. As Solomon continued his search for meaning, he began to realize something profound. There are limits to human understanding. The more he sought wisdom, the more he found himself baffled by the mysteries of life and the ways of God. 1. The mystery of life. Solomon had seen much in his lifetime. He had experienced the highs of wealth, power, and success, but also the lows of sorrow, injustice, and the fleeting nature of human achievement. He had built cities, gathered knowledge, and even searched for pleasure in every form. But despite all his efforts, there was one thing he could not conquer: the mysteries of life itself. 2. The struggle to understand God's work. One of the most striking realizations came when Solomon, in all his wisdom, came face to face with the limitations of human understanding. He observed the world and the lives of the people around him, but he found himself unable to fully grasp God's ways. When I applied my heart to know wisdom, I saw all the work of God, that man cannot find out the work that is done under the sun. Ecclesiastes 8:16-17. Despite all his wisdom, Solomon realized there were too many questions without answers. Why do good people suffer while the wicked prosper? Why do some live long lives while others die young? Why do we experience so much joy and so much sorrow in the same lifetime? Solomon could not understand these mysteries. 3. Accepting the unknown. The more Solomon thought about it, the more he understood that trying to answer these questions was not the key to peace or fulfillment. In fact, the endless search for answers only led to frustration. Instead of focusing on things beyond his comprehension, Solomon learned to focus on what was in his control: his relationship with God and the way he lived his life. He has made everything beautiful in its time. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 11. Though he couldn't understand the entirety of God's plan, Solomon came to realize that it was better to trust in God's wisdom rather than struggle to understand everything. There was a beauty in the mystery of life, and it was a lesson in humility. Number 4. Living by faith and humility. Rather than letting his frustration over unanswered questions rule him, Solomon chose to live with faith and humility. He recognized that God, in his wisdom, had set things in motion, and that man's role was to trust him. Solomon encouraged others to seek joy in simple things, to appreciate the blessings they had, and to trust that God would take care of the rest. A man's life is a gift from God, and he should enjoy the good things he has, because this is his portion. Ecclesiastes 5:18. The true wisdom was in accepting the limits of human understanding, living in harmony with God's will, and finding peace in the present moment. Solomon's perspective shifted from one of striving for complete knowledge to one of living in faith, trusting that God's plan was good, even when it was beyond human comprehension. Number 5. The search for true wisdom. Solomon's journey into wisdom showed him that true understanding isn't found in seeking all the answers to life's hardest questions. True wisdom is found in trusting that God knows what's best for us, even when we don't understand his plan. Through Solomon's reflections, we learn that it's okay not to have all the answers. What matters is how we choose to live in the face of life's uncertainties, trusting in God, seeking joy in the simple things, and living with humility and gratitude. 6. Embracing faith. As Solomon's life drew to a close, he left a legacy of wisdom not based on having all the answers, but on living in a way that honors God's mystery and grace. His final words remind us of the importance of faith, humility, and the acceptance of God's plan for our lives. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. Ecclesiastes 12:13. In the end, Solomon's wisdom points us not to answers we can grasp, but to a life we can trust, one that is centered on God's love, guided by his wisdom, and filled with faith. The call to enjoy life wisely. Ecclesiastes 9-10. Solomon, wise beyond measure, acknowledges the beauty and complexity of life, but he also sees the inevitable uncertainties that come with it. Life is fleeting and unpredictable, but instead of being consumed by worry, he encourages people to find joy in what they have and embrace the present moment. 1. Embrace joy in simple things. Despite the uncertainties of life, Solomon speaks a word of encouragement. Go, eat your bread with joy and drink your wine with a merry heart, for God has already approved what you do. Ecclesiastes 9 verse 7. Life is not just about chasing success, wealth, or fame. Solomon invites us to appreciate the simple pleasures, enjoying a meal with family or sharing a moment of laughter with friends, for God has already approved what you do. This affirmation from God reminds us that joy is a gift meant to be enjoyed and not wasted in unnecessary worries. 2. Happiness in the present. Solomon emphasizes that happiness is found in the everyday moments. The joy of family gatherings, the peace of honest work, and the comfort of companionship. These are the things that make life worth living. There is no need to overcomplicate or search for happiness in distant dreams. True fulfillment is found in the present, in the things that are already in our reach. Solomon urges us to seize these moments with a thankful heart, recognizing that these are blessings from God. 3. Work and family as foundations of joy. Solomon doesn't dismiss the value of hard work. In fact, he encourages it. Whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might. Ecclesiastes 9 verse 10. Yet, Solomon reminds us that joy is not found only in striving for wealth or status. True contentment comes when we embrace our daily work and the relationships that make life meaningful. Family and friendships offer us an anchor in an unpredictable world, and enjoying these relationships can bring lasting joy. 4. Avoiding foolishness and living wisely. While Solomon calls us to enjoy life, he also warns us to live wisely. He observes the pitfalls of foolishness and how it leads to ruin. The heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of mirth. Ecclesiastes 7:4. In a world full of distractions, it's easy to be swept away by foolish behavior, seeking after empty pleasures or chasing after things that don't bring true fulfillment. Solomon urges us to avoid foolishness and live with wisdom, making decisions that honor God and bring peace rather than regret. 5. Enjoying life amidst its uncertainties. Though life is filled with uncertainties, there are challenges and losses, things we can't control. Solomon reminds us that these should not rob us of joy. For who can eat and who can have enjoyment without him? Ecclesiastes 2:25. Even when life seems unpredictable, there is peace in knowing that God holds the future. By trusting him, we can enjoy life in all its beauty and unpredictability. Solomon's call to enjoy life wisely is a powerful reminder that while we cannot control everything, we can find peace in appreciating the simple joys of life. These joys are not found in wealth or fame, but in relationships, work, and the moments we have right now. By living wisely and embracing gratitude, we honor God and enjoy the fullness of life. The final lessons. Remember your Creator. Ecclesiastes 11-12. As he nears the end of his reflections, Solomon urges people to remember God while they are young. Remember also your Creator in the days of your youth, before the evil days come and the years draw near of which you will say, I have no pleasure in them. Ecclesiastes 12:1. Life is short, and old age will come sooner than we expect. The grand conclusion of Ecclesiastes is found in its final verses. The end of the matter, all has been heard. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God will bring every deed into judgment, with every secret thing, whether good or evil. Ecclesiastes 12:13-14. What can we learn from Ecclesiastes? Ecclesiastes teaches us powerful lessons. Life without God is empty. Wealth, pleasure, and success cannot satisfy the soul. Time is fleeting. We must use our days wisely, remembering our Creator. True joy comes from living for God. Lasting meaning is found in fearing God and following his ways. Though Ecclesiastes begins with the phrase vanity of vanities, it ends with hope. It reminds us that our ultimate purpose is not in earthly things, but in a relationship with God. Call to action. As we reflect on Solomon's wisdom, let us ask ourselves, what are we pursuing in life? Are we chasing things that will fade, or are we building a life centered on God? If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with others who need to hear this powerful message. Stay blessed, and remember, life only finds true meaning in God.